Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. In this particular video, we are going to study about functions. So here as you can see, one code is written which is a demo function which is printing the Fibonacci series, right? So you can go through this code, but before understanding this particular code, we will be seeing some of the basic uh, points about functions. So first of all, the keyword def introduces a function definition, right? So as you can see here, one function is written. So the very first word which is written over here is def, right? So whenever any function you will define in Python, you will always have to write the def keyword. By that, the interpreter understands that here one function has been defined, okay? After that, it must be followed. Okay, so see, the word must is written, that means it is compulsory, right? So it must be followed by the function name and parenthesized list of formal parameters, right? So that means after writing this def, here in green color, whatever is there, this is the function name actually. Okay, so here the function name is fib, right? The short form of Fibonacci series. So here actually you can give any valid identifier name. Okay, can be the function name. And after that you have to give this parenthesis, and inside that you can write a list of formal parameters. Okay, so here only one parameter has been passed, which is n, but you can pass more also. Okay, maybe 2 parameters, 3 parameters, or maybe 0 parameter. It is not compulsory that you have to pass something, but the parenthesis is compulsory. You have to write the parenthesis. Inside that you are giving any parameter or not, that is not mandatory. Okay, all right. So the statements that form the body of the function start at the next line and must be indented, right? So this we already know that indentation must be followed in Python, and whatever the function body is there, that starts from the next line. Like you can see here, the function body has started from here, right? This is the entire function body. By the indentation you can understand, again this line whatever is there, fib, okay, this is outside of this function because they fall on the same line. Okay, so this is the points which you have to grab from this first paragraph. That is, whenever you are trying to define any function, you have to write the def keyword. After that, you will be writing the function name, and after that, within parentheses, you have to pass the parameters. Okay, so the parameters are not compulsory, but you have to write the parentheses. And after that, definitely one column has to be there, which denotes that this is a block, right? And inside you will go and some other codes are written for that. Okay, now the first statement of the function body can optionally be a string literal, right? This string literal is the function's documentation string, or it is also known as docstring. Okay, so more about docstring if you want to study, then you can go to this link. Okay, but in this particular example, which is the docstring, this particular thing, okay, which is just written inside triple quotes, right? So this particular line is the documentation string, right? So what it is doing actually, it actually helps the readers to understand that the function is written for what purpose, right? So in a one line, in a short and crisp manner, you can define the function. Like here it is written, print a Fibonacci series up to n. So by this you can understand that what is the purpose of this function. So it is a very good practice that whatever function you are creating, you write one short description for it, okay, because it makes your code very readable. So there are tools which use doc strings to automatically produce online or printed documentation, or to let the user interactively browse through code. So this is also benefit of docstring, okay, because mostly what will happen that you will be writing codes and you will be storing them in GitHub or various other sites. So there what happens when users search about some code and all, so by this doc strings, okay, the codes are reachable. Okay, they search about this, and so for all these purposes, what happens, documentation is important. Okay, so if you're giving, then it is better. So that's what is written here. It's good practice to include doc strings in code that you write, so make a habit of it, right? So it is a very good practice. So whatever functions you're writing from now, you should write the documentation string for it. All right, so theoretically we will keep only this much in this particular lecture. Now I will be showing you some demo functions, that how to write it in the terminal, and rest of the part we will be studying in the next lecture. Okay, so let us go to the terminal now. So here is the terminal, and okay, so now we have to invoke Python, right? So by this we will be doing it, and after this you can start writing your code. Okay, so let us straight away start with defining the function. So one random function I'm making, which is, let us say, def fun, and inside this, as I said, that you don't have to necessarily pass any parameter, so I'm not passing here anything, and I'm coming inside this function, right? So you have to give the tab for maintaining the indentation, and after that you can print something. Let us say I want to print here learning function. Okay, learning function, this is what I want that should be printed. So after this you can end it here, right? Okay, but you see here one thing, that the line did not get printed, right? Why? Because actually it is a function, so we need to call the function. Okay, and then this function is going to work. Okay, it is like a machine, right? So you have to switch on the machine, then it will work. So it is similar to that. Okay, so now what to do for calling the function? Nothing, just simply you have to write the function name. Okay, so function name you write, then give parenthesis. Okay, and inside this, if any parameters you want to pass, then you can give here. But since here in this function I have not taken any parameter, so you don't have to pass also anything. Okay, so just this is what you have to write for calling the function. Okay, so now if you hit enter, now your line, that is learning function, is printed. Okay, so always remember that you're writing the function, that is okay, but you also have to call it later if you want to execute that particular function. Okay, so that part you have to remember. All right, now let us see some more function which will take some parameter. Okay, let us say I want to take some number. Okay, so one parameter I am taking here n. Okay, and I want to print the double of that number. So what you have to write, you will print here. So for printing the double, what to do? Definitely 2 into n or n plus n, both will work, right? So if any message also you want to print, then you can print it. Okay, so the double is, you can write it like this, and after that you can end this, and then you can print here 2 into n, right? All right, so done. So still the value, because you see here why we need to call, because after calling only I will pass the parameter, right? I will pass the number, that which number I want to double, otherwise how, which number it will double. So that is why we need to call it. So here you have to write the function name, which is double, then inside parenthesis you pass whatever number you want. Okay, so like if I pass here 5, then it is printing the double is 10, right? The double of 5 is 10. So this is how it will work. Okay, now the thing is that you can also pass here some decimals, maybe let us say 2.5, like this. Okay, so it is printing 5.0. Okay, but what if we try to send some string, let us say hi? In this case what will happen? In this case it is printing what? Hi, right? 2 times it is printing. Why? Because if you remember in some previous lecture I have discussed that 2 into n, right? So 2 into string, some string if you're writing, then this multiplication, this asterisk behaves as repetition operator, right? So that is why it is repeating. So remember that which kind of value you are passing, and based on that what kind of output will come. Okay, all right. Now the thing is that we can also have multiple parameters. Let us say def, and I want to print some sum. Okay, so a comma b you can write like this. So now 2 parameters I am passing. Okay, and here I want to print what? I want to print the sum. So I can write the message the sum is, and after this I can write here a plus b, right? Okay, so okay, I did not close the double quotation, so that was a silly mistake. So a comma b we have to write, and then print. Here we have to write the sum is, and after this actually I did not end the quotation. So after this you can write a plus b. Okay, so this is how it is done. Now you have to call the function, so you will write sum, and now since 2 values are required, so you have to pass 2 values. Okay, so what to do? Let us say 2 comma 7 if I pass. In that case it is printing the sum is 9. But what if you're passing only one parameter, let us say, okay, let us check that if only I'm writing sum of 8, then what is going to happen? Here it is expecting two values, right? But I'm passing only one. So what is going to happen? So it will be a type error. And what it is saying, sum missing one required positional argument, which is b, right? Because the first will go to a, so a is getting the value, but for b any value is not there, so there the parameter is missing. So that is why keep these things in mind, that as much as parameters you have written here, those many parameters must come, okay, when you're calling also. All right, now let us see that documentation part also, that how to write the documentation. So let us say some other function if I write, that is for checking even or odd, okay. So if I write here is even, this is my function name, and in this I will take one number, right? And so here what you have to write, if you want to provide documentation, you give that 3 quotation, right? And inside this you write a short line, whatever you want to write, okay. So like I can write here, this function checks whether n is even or odd, okay. So we can write it this way and you can close it. So this is how the documentation is added, okay. So whoever tries to read your function, they will first of all read this string and they will understand the purpose of the function, okay. So that is why it is beneficial. After that you can write the body of the function. So here what will be there, that if n modulus 2, right, is equal to 0, in that case what to do? In that case I will print even, right? I will print even. And otherwise, else what to do? Else we can print odd, okay, odd. So after this, okay, so it is done. Now you can call with various parameters now. So let us say I'm calling it with 7. So in this case odd is printed. If I call this function with, let us say like this 653 maybe, in that case also odd is printed. Then let us take some even number we can have 82. So now even is printed, right? But here also again, if you give some other kind of parameter, let us say hello, if I'm writing, then what will happen? Okay, so here you are getting type error. Earlier you did not get type error here, where we were repeating this one, okay, because this whatever operation we are doing, 2 into some string, right, that operation is valid, so you got output according to that. But here whatever we are doing, that here hello is going and it is getting stored in n, right? Now n modulus 2, that means hello modulus 2. Now this operation is only not defined, right? It doesn't make sense. So that is why we are getting error, not all arguments converted during string formatting, okay. So that is why the arguments are not getting converted in the required form, which is number here, and that is why we are getting error. So these things you have to keep in mind, okay. Also one last thing, that is we can use return here, okay. Return keyword can be used here, which you might have used in some other languages also. So let us say if I'm making some function which is of product, okay, so let us say two numbers I'll pass, n1 comma n2, okay, and here I just want to return the value, okay. So return n1 into n2, this is what I want to do, okay. So here I am not printing, I am just returning the value. It will be stored somewhere else and then that I can print. So actually directly if you call, let us say product, okay, so what will happen, 3 comma 8, let us say, so it is printing 24, okay, because the calculation will be done, so it will print 24. And but otherwise you can also store it in some variable, let us say var is equal to product, like this also you can do, and then 3 comma 8, okay. So now in variable it is stored. So sometimes we do this, that whatever value the function is returning, we store that because maybe later we need that. So for that purpose you can store it, and then again if you want to print, you can print where, and again 24 is printed, right? So this is how the functions work. Okay, so these are some very basic samples of how functions are written and how you can write the code inside this. Okay, so I will recommend that you can take the function multiple programs which are available on internet for checking even, odd, prime, non-prime, or maybe for printing 1 to 10, 100 to 1. Okay, so like these questions you can take from internet and you can write functions for that. If you face any doubt, then comment down and I will try to help you. So I'm ending this lecture here. Thank you.